Hi there and welcome to Boat McRill, hopefully your favorite do-it-yourself channel here on YouTube. Today we are actually going to keep working with the roof as usual. I've been sanding a lot off camera. It's starting to get closer and closer to a point where we can start doing some finish on this. For you who are new to this channel, I want to introduce myself. My name is Tony, and this channel is all about the restoration and refitting of the very first built Albin 30, a 30-foot cabin family cruiser built by the Swedish shipbuilder Albin Marine back in the 70s. This one was actually one of the three first prototype that was built with a big sunroof on top of the aft cabin. The second one that was built with double engines and double propellers. And the third one was a flybridge one. The flybridge one I don't think exists anymore. The one with double engines, I know somewhere here in Sweden it's still in operation. And of course mine that has the sign, and it's stamped sign with number 1 on it. When I bought this boat last year, it was actually in pretty decent condition. It was going, the engine is cool, it works as it's supposed to. But I found some things. I found some rotten core materials, especially in this roof. And as you can see in the previous movie about the restoration of this roof, you can find a link up here right now where you can find a playlist for all the earlier episodes. This roof was built with a wooden core inside, and on this side, that's the port side, it actually got wet inside, it got water intrusion, and it started to, somewhere back in time, it started to decompose. So about half of this roof, the old core material is removed, and there is foam core material in here right now. But as I said, check the earlier movies. There's also some other things that's problem. You have some places on the deck that needs to be fixed, where we have some actually the superstructure and the deck is actually built in 2 layers. First we have a pretty thick layer of wooden material. I think it's some kind of hardwood, and on top of that we have fiberglass. In some places there has been water intrusion, especially around the edge of the deck, and I need to cut out that and put in some new wood there. Also, I'm gonna do some other small things here and there to just make sure that the boat is in perfect condition when I take it out for hopefully the first ride out on the sea in about 2 to maybe 3 years, depends on. But back to the roof. If you watched the earlier movies here, you've seen me sanding with this little 125 millimeter Orbital Bosch blue sander. I can tell you, it's still alive, but since I used that one for my other boat last summer, when I actually did sand down all the old paint and everything under the water line on the hull, and did some epoxy treatment on that one, it starts to wear on me, and it doesn't do actually what I like to. So I bought this one, a new little machine, an AEG. I bought it yesterday, 150 millimeter random orbital sander, and we're gonna check out, see how this one works. There definitely are some places where I want to do some more fairing and repairing. Over here, actually there is places around the old screw holes where the fiberglass were kind of messy. I've sanded this down a little bit and gonna put in some 1 or 2 layers of fiberglass with epoxy over this. I'm gonna fill these from the other side. Definitely need of more fairing over here, and over place over here too. Then I have some more sanding to do on these edges around here, just like over here. If you look at this over, see if you can see it with the camera. I can't actually get into deep enough. I probably can, but then I ending up totally in the fiberglass. If you know if there's a way to remove that surface without sanding, like using styrene or anything like that, please give me a little hint down here in the comments, and I will look into that. I actually, out of camera, faired up those spots that I needed to put some more fairing into, and so that's already done. Just you could see in the last movie how that's done if you want to, but I'm gonna repair small patches that I was showing earlier, and for that I'm gonna mix up some epoxy resin with hardener, and the product is of course from Nils Malmgren, and this is the laminating 275. I buy that from Epoxy Online. You can find their products on www.epoxy.online. I got a link down in the description. Just about that much. I'm gonna mix up this fairly well, so I'm mixing for about 2 minutes, 150 or something like that. I'm sorry for the sound in the background, but I got my heating fans on. This is the second spot I got here. And if you see here, plenty of resin. There's the second layer. As you might remember, I actually promised you all a little test. I was going to test and see how well gel coat binds to epoxy. All this surface here on this side is epoxy, and I did a little square here, as you can see, and I'm going to put gel coat on this, let it cure, and see how well, by scraping on it, see how well it binds, and also sanding it and stuff like that. Just to make sure that I prep this as good as possible, I'm gonna wipe it off with a tack rag. Start out, the tack rag is a sticky rag. I'm wiping this area so that it's clean as possible. I don't want any kind of contaminants in here. After that, of course I'm going to wipe this off with acetone. I got a heating fan going straight into this bucket over here. And this bucket, there I have my gel coat and I have my hardener, and I'm heating it up a bit so it gets a little bit warmer. It's been in here and it's under 10 degrees. So that 50 milliliters, and there's about 2%. I'm gonna put it a little bit more than 2% because it's cold in here. So right now I'm mixing 50 milliliters with a little bit more than 2% of hardener or catalyst, and then 5% paraffin in here too. While that flashes off, I will keep on mixing this a little bit more. Okay, now I'm gonna brush on some gel coat here on this area here. I'm actually gonna brush on a fairly thick layer. Okay, that's actually gonna be it. I'm gonna let that sit there and cure. If I found out that works, just as other people say, then I will actually just paint all of this with gel or top coat when all the surfaces are faired, sanded, and all that is done. Hello there and good morning. It's another day and it's time for some wonderful sanding of the roof. I got myself some 40 grit sandpaper and well, can't wait for it. You just have to do it. But before we start doing all that sanding, I just want us to check this surface. As I said, I did this surface on top of epoxy, and by the old rules you couldn't put polyester on epoxy, and since this is polyester based gel coat, or actually now top coat because I put some paraffin in it, it shouldn't actually bind very well to epoxy. Well, as you can see, it is possible to chip off with a knife. Same thing here. I had to use pretty much force to make it happen. And yes, it doesn't bind super well. And yes, I can actually chip it away with a knife if I really working with it. As you see here, it wasn't actually the result that I hoped for. As you could probably figure out by now, I'm not super stoked about the result of that. I know that there is epoxy-based paint. I've got some ideas about what to use, like Jotun Pen Guard, HB and stuff like that. Or do you think I would be able to still go with gel coat on this? Do I dare it? Or will I have to redo it, all of this, when the roof is on? Will it crack when I start to move the roof because it's flexing a little bit and start to chip off by that? Give me your thoughts. I'm going to put up a little voting up here. Just before you decide and give me a vote, this is the old gel coat. There is no epoxy on this. I did also a little test on the old gel coat by putting new gel coat on here. And look at this. It's actually possible to ship off the gel coat from the gel coat. So check out the voting and please vote how I'm gonna do this. Polyester based gel coat or something else. Give me your thoughts. Okay then, it's time for me to take care of this little repair over here. I'm gonna lay down 3 layers of 300 grams biaxial weave and with epoxy. I put some fairing under there because I had a little scar in the area that I filled up, and then put the weave over there so it's kind of stuck on the fairing. I'm gonna mix up just a small batch and of epoxy, and then well, then it's time to do it. Okay folks, that's all I had time for this week. I've done the repairs. I've done the repairs on the other side where the screw holes were. I've sanded everything on this side, and also did some more fairing, did repair here on the corner, and well, that's it. Now I have to go back into my family. I'm going to go on a date with my wife. It's Valentine's Day today, and some friends, and have some nice food out in a restaurant. So if you like my channel and you like this episode, please give me a thumbs up, and of course hit the little subscription button down there on the right, also the notification bell, so you don't miss anything of the content. Make sure to check the channel further on. There's lots of cool stuff coming up just as soon as it gets a little bit more warmer over here. We can go back to the boat and start working inside of the boat. There's a lot of things to be done there: woodworking, fiberglassing, wow, whatever, lots of electronics, electrical and stuff like that. So hang on and see you in a week.
Bye!